That's right, everybody, Brent here from CustomChallenge, and we are going to be looking at the newest thing in the GTA 5 Online Heist update. Finally! Now, I couldn't record this yesterday because of technical difficulties, but as you probably guessed by that intro piece, we are going to be looking at the flare gun. Now, there's an interesting thing about the flare gun that I would like to demonstrate in this. Now, some people are thinking, flare gun? What? Why? Why would you do that? It seems stupid. It seems pointless. Well, for the short amount of time that I managed to actually get online yesterday, which was day one of the Heist update, I found out that the flare gun is actually pretty fun to use, even if you're just going to mess with people. Now, of course, the first thing I did was shoot another player who was in my game with it, and for quite interesting effect. Now, here's what I want to point out. This is the default colored flare, meaning if you just buy the flare gun and buy ammo, this is what you're going to get. And it's kind of a red. It matches the gun. So if I think I put the caption in early. Oh, yep, there it is. So yeah, it's a red flare. It's pretty easy to see. It's pretty much what you'd expect from a flare, really. Now, it doesn't have any special traits. It doesn't call in airstrikes. I know somebody's like, oh, it's a substitute for the flare you get from the airstrike. That's a lie. Now, here's where it gets fun. As you see, I just put the army tint on it, and it will actually change the color of the flare. Now, the army tint isn't too impressive. It's just kind of a tan, sandy colored. It's okay. It's neat. Somebody might like it. I'm not big of a fan of it. The next one is green, and it's very similar, in my opinion, to the army colored tint in the way the flare actually looks. Now, another thing is yes, you can actually kill NPCs in this game. You can kill other characters in this game with the flare gun. And yes, shooting it off will alert the cops. As you see here, I have to call Lester and have him get rid of the cops. Now, this is also a chance to take a look at this flare and basically see the kind of particle effect type of deal that comes with shooting them. Now, something fun to do is if you are driving down the road and you fire the flare out of a vehicle, it will fly along and bounce along the road ahead of you. And I actually, partially blinded the other guy I was playing with. It bounced ahead of him, and then he ran into another vehicle. So this is orange, and it's very similar to the red, I think. It's pretty neat. It's a little brighter color. It's, I don't know, enjoyable. Where things really start to get interesting is when you get into the LSPD tint, which is what I just put on. Now, I'm including this walking out the door each time so that people can't go and say that I'm hacking and I'm full of crap. So the LSPD is really blue. Now the center of it's kind of a white, and then there's a blue smoke. And while it's kind of fun to use in the daylight, at night, when flares are most fun to use, you can't see a whole lot. It's not that impressive. I'm just shooting the sign just because I can. Now the next tint is actually the one I found to be my favorite, in part because of the color, and you can see it. Well, not really just the color, but you can see it in the night and in the day. It's pink, and it's the smoke effect on it is really bright. Like you can see there, it's got a huge smoke effect when you fire it. Now, a few things have been said about these flares so far. People say that they can't damage vehicles and they can't damage people, which again, I've pointed out is not entirely true. Because you'll see later on in the video I actually go around and start a firefight with the flare gun. Now the gold, at first when I was testing this out, the gold is the first one that I tried, and it was impressive. Now, when I first found out you could change the colors of the flares, I grabbed the LSPD tint, and me and my buddy were driving along, and he fires off the flare, and I fire off my flare, and mine is blue, and we were like, holy crap, what the hell was that? So, of course, we had to go and test out each of the different flare colors. Now, platinum. It's the most expensive, but it's also the most underwhelming. It's a simple grayish white smoke color, and doesn't do a whole lot. That explosion over there, I cut that out, but I wasn't sure if that was a police officer driving into that tank or a flare. But anyway, here it is. I'm going to try and get into some trouble with the flare gun. Now I missed that guy. I scared him. Now, some people are saying that the flares can't damage vehicles. Now I want to get back to what I was saying there, where, yes, they bounce off of vehicles and they fly every which way when they do. But we had one and it landed right next to the guy's truck, and the tire lit on fire, and then the grill of the truck started on fire, and then we just couldn't get in the truck. So it's not like it caused some great dramatic explosion, it just slowly killed the truck. And there's nothing that could have done that aside from the flare. We were parked in an empty lot. So that is quite surprising, I must say. It'll be interesting to see if we can do some kind of gameplay where all we do is flares. I really want to see a flares only team deathmatch. It sounds incredibly stupid, and it probably will be. Just picture everybody using different colored flares and like firing across this open area, and how dramatic that would look. And then it's not just getting hit by the flare, you'd have to not stand on them, because as we found out, that can cause problems too. So here I am trying to set this car on fire with a flare, but it just bounced underneath it and it didn't work. So let's find some other trouble to get into. So I'm going to try and chase down some traffic. Now, I want to point out something that's going to come out up here, where the flare guns ignite people when they hit. Like, so if you're another player and somebody hits you with a flare gun, you're gonna like get some fire back, and it'll last for a couple of seconds and that would be it. But for NPCs, it's like insta-kill. It's incredibly overpowered. Now, you really won't see this until I actually get into this gunfight up here, and the effect is quite spectacular when it works. If you can't hit the guy, or if you miss, that's just stupid. So where is... So yeah, you can alert the cops, you can get in trouble, you can break street signs, which turns out to be something incredibly fun. Go around and plink street signs. We also tested it out, and you can close vehicle doors, so these do have an impact effect. And here's... oh, wrong guy. I'll try and prove this point here. I'll see if... yeah. See? He's down. One shot from a flare gun, of all things. Now, I think the craziest thing we did is we got into like a 3-star or 4-star fight with a flare gun at one point. And there's a new little event where you have to like distract the cops inside a purple circle, and I ignored that a couple of times, and Lester got all pissed off. But when I finally did it, he actually awarded me like $10,000 for distracting them. So if you see that, go for it. If you want to use the flare to take down armored targets, like you're kind of seeing me do here, go for it. I mean, this thing shoots fireballs. And now I'm out of ammo. So this has been Brent from Try that again. This has been Brent from CustomChallenge saying challenge complete. And yeah, OP flare gun is OP.